I'm Mythra13, and I approve this video. Hello, this is Mythra13, and that was my little tip of the hat to Lord Ugg. And welcome to episode 20 of my adventures in Minecraft. Thank you very much for joining me. And I need to thank Pam07675 for subscribing. Thank you also to Homie Knight 300. Thank you also Deotoxin. Thank you Cat Manson. And thank you Matt333. And finally, this one I'm going to struggle with. This is thank you to a load of Hapabalap. I hope I got that right. I came close, I'm sure I did. No, thank you everyone for joining me. And I did actually get a question, so thank you Deotoxin for asking me 4 questions. So, my first question and answer session for my adventures in Minecraft. But before I get into that, basically kind of catch everyone up on where I've been, what I've been up to. As you can see, I've cleared the land down 1 or 2 blocks worth. I'm going to probably get it all the way down to sea level, I think. That's my plan. I've been doing some fishing. Got to keep my food supply up, being here on a deserted island. Get him! Get him! You let that shark push you around like that? What's wrong with you? Come on, dog. Get him. Get him. I can't just let you struggle with it. Come on. Get him. Get that shark. Oh boy, he has a hard time fighting the shark, looks like. So first, it's actually got a creature that he has a hard time with. Oh, what is this? Looks like a snake egg. Snakes are dropping these eggs like crazy. Might be a little too high of a drop rate on the snake eggs for Dr. Zark's small creatures. I really like them. I had to turn the settings down. I had to spawn setting for the Mo Creatures mod. I actually got it down to like 2, and I've even considered putting it down to 1. Just because it's like Snake Island, like, and you saw my first video on the island, I should say. Just a ridiculous number of snakes. Found this little thing. It's interesting. A little bit of air pocket down there. Get this experience, and then I'll get back up. So yeah, like I said, I've been flattening out the land. I want to get it down to sea level, I think. Level 64, I guess it is. And then I'm going to build probably a castle or a tower up here. And like I showed you in the last episode, I picked up a couple of these, I think it's Greatwood tree sapling, from the Greatwood trees from Thaumcraft. And I was hoping that I'd have them actually be growing here for me. But the thing is, I think it said in the information about the mod that it needs like a high enough ore level where they're planted. I think that's the reason that they're not growing. So I guess my island here out in the ocean biome must be like a lower ore level than what they need. So I don't know, I might need to like get the mod going and have like the ore level increase in some area, and then they'll start growing, I hope. But as it is, I still need I think I need the Greatwood logs to actually really get going on the mod. He's incapacitated. Oh, my poor dog. So yeah, getting distracted. But yeah, I think I'll have to like make a trip back through the swamp and back towards my castle in order to get some of that Greatwood tree wood, just to get started into the Thaumcraft mod. But it's been going pretty well. I've got a few of the Zai's farming mod plants growing here in my little garden. Some wheat. Don't really have enough to really start keeping my guy alive, so I'm going with the fishing, doing some of that. I got 40 fish cooked up in my inventory there. Alright, I'm starting to slowly get enough wheat seeds to really get going with the wheat. And I'm going crazy with the sugar cane. That's just because later on I know I'm going to need to use the sugar cane to make paper, to make books, to make bookshelves for the Thaumcraft mod. But yeah, as you can see over here, I was exploring this side of my island, over here, and I see some boats. Some pirate ships have spawned. So I got this little one over here. and a much larger one over there. I bet you that's the one with the like evil pirate captain guy. Um, yeah, that's going to be a challenge. So what I think I'm going to do is like maybe go over and get this one. There might be like 1 or 2 guys, I think. And then maybe I'll bring my bed with me and have a spawn point there so I can just kind of take a little boat over to this one instead of having to come from over here. And actually where I have my bed set right now is underground on that island, which is a little bit further than I think the little pirate ship to the big one would be. So yeah, this tall thing here is the Zeiss farming mod hybrid wheat. And in order to get the seeds, you just take normal wheat seeds and combine them with redstone, and it gives you hybrid seeds. And then those hybrid seeds, like you saw, grow up like 3 blocks tall, and you can get like 3 times the wheat per plot, per spot where you plant it. Another cool thing, I've got my dog, his final levels, level 60, and now he can carry things for me. See if I can get to him. What do I gotta hit? I think I hit control. I might not, maybe you can't actually, I think you actually can access it while he's incapacitated. That must be what it is. But yeah, he's got about 15 slots of inventory. Real handy. And whenever he kills something, he picks up what they drop right away. I mean, he can pick it up from like 2 or 3 blocks away, I think, because I was like doing some mining or whatever I was doing, and he was like snagging it out from under me practically. Here's the other Greatwood tree sapling. Like I said, neither one of them are growing, so I really want them to be on this island with me because I want to be able to be established enough on this island and not have to leave it quite so much, but I know I'm going to have to make at least one trip back towards the mainland to get some of this wood to really start off doing the mod. I think I made the little cauldron thing you throw your blocks in, and I made what is it? It's like the table with the weird little symbols on it. I made both of those. Oh, and some of the piping. I don't know. I can't think of the mod names for this stuff without looking it up. But yeah, I'm really pumped about using that mod. It'll be fun. So my 20th video, and I got some questions. So go down here just to stay away from the monsters while I answer them. Diotoxin has asked me what's my age, where I live, how did I start playing Minecraft, and also what other kinds of games do I like to play besides Minecraft. So, first off, I am 33 years old. I am a U.S. Army veteran, disabled veteran, and I live in the United States. I would like to live in like England or Ireland. They're such nice places. I don't like the government there, but I don't like the government here so much anyway, so off topic, sorry. Okay, so I got started playing Minecraft. Basically, while I was in the Army, one of my soldiers was playing it, and he would talk to me about it, you know, off and on, and it sounded pretty interesting, but at the time, I think I was playing World of Warcraft or something else, and I didn't really want to, you know, when you get playing one game and you get obsessive about it, you don't really want to start off a new game, usually, unless you're bored with the first game. So I didn't check it out at the time, but after I got out of the Army, I started playing Spore, which I have my Spore series going right now, and it wasn't too long into playing Spore that I started looking at YouTube videos of people playing Minecraft. And just to mention a few, I know I watched Banana Pie Lord. I watched probably at least 1 or 2 of Paul Soares and Lucklin and, you know, the big names. And I watched them, and I was like, you know, it looks really interesting. I'm going to give it a try, and I tried it out. And I think I mentioned in my very first videos, my prequel series, how I had played it for a little while, and then I started making the texture packs. And, I mean, that really got me into enjoying it on more than one level, where I can, you know, craft what I'd like the world to look like, basically, and just a whole lot of stuff that I really enjoy about the game. Level of creativity, and of course, when my friend in the Army actually told me about it, I think it had just been They're still doing the Secret Friday updates, so it was like beta still, and I think it was just after the Halloween update where they started to add a lot of stuff. Or that, or it was right before it, because it seems to me like I started right after the cakes. Cakes were put into the game. The cake was like a brand new item when I started playing. So I want to think I played in 1.2.1, I don't know, but anyways. Then I started my video series in 1.2.3, now in 1.2.5. We're on the cusp of 1.3. So yeah, that's how I got started. And as far as other games, well, there's a lot of other games. Basically, I started out being almost strictly RPG, and I do gotta say, like, when I actually started playing, like, was of course back in the days of Atari and Nintendo, and you know, so only some of the older of us actually started when that stuff was like hot. I mean, Atari. If anybody was to pick up an Atari now, they'd probably feel it was absolute crap. But at the time, I mean, Atari was pumping out games like crazy, and just from the sheer volume of games, that console really, I think, survived. If they had had fewer games, they wouldn't have been doing nearly as well. But it got insane with the amount of games that they were putting out. And I mean, that's what kind of was their downside and maybe their downfall too, because some of those games were just utter crap. So, you know, people would be upset that they spent money on them at all. Notable is the E.T. game. I remember reading about that and how bad it was. I know my cousin played E.T., but I never did. He's the one that actually had the Atari, so of course he'd bring it over. I'd go over there and we'd play Atari. And, now I did get a original Nintendo, the NES, and basically I got that as a Christmas present to share with my two younger sisters. So I didn't even have NES of my own. I basically had to share it. And we had the Super Mario Brothers, of course. I think that basically came with the console. And I had my own. I had Kung Fu. And if you've ever played Kung Fu, God, that was one of the most frustrating games I've ever played in my life. It was like one of those games where you can't save, which was pretty common back then with video games. I mean, you'd get to like stage 3 after some really hellacious end bosses and stuff, and then die. And you might have like 1 or 2 lives in the game, but then you die and you're like, I don't think I ever want to play this game again. I mean, that's how I got with that game. Which, I mean, it had some really good qualities about it, but all in all, I got so sick of that game. I hated it. Absolutely developed a hate for that game. But if it wasn't for some of the actually good quality games that came out, they'd have like taken a vow to never play games because of how frustrated I'd get with some of them. And I mean, back then, mostly a lot of what it was is, which I don't know if there's anybody that really is this way with video games nowadays, with the just a big what am I thinking of? Like variety, I guess, in styles of gameplay that there is nowadays. So you can get into his little inventory. It's pretty cool. He carries his stuff around. But like I was saying, like the sheer variety of games that there's like something for everyone. But back then, I mean, it was a lot of platforming and games where you had to be quick, you know, and that sort of thing. And this was before, I mean, there were some RPGs. I think this is back when basically Dragon Warrior, and if you consider the Zelda series RPG, which is mostly like action RPG, but I mean, it was just starting where there were any RPGs at all. You could find some on the PC or computers, but what it was is like my cousin would play, but I was too afraid to even start playing because I was like, I know I'm going to die like right away. I'd rather see somebody get further into the game than me try to play and die right away. I wasn't worried about being embarrassed or anything like that. It was just, I knew I was too worried about even playing. It kind of stressed me out. So I would just enjoy, you know, he'd spend the night over at my house, or I'd spend the night over at his, and we'd just play, you know, into the wee hours of the morning and get far into the game and that sort of thing. And the first RPG I played, of course, was Final Fantasy. And I mean, I liked it a lot at the time. And I think what it was we rented it, and basically I just watched my cousin play, like I was saying, and it was a good time. It looks like I need to fix that. It's the wrong color. Should blend in. But like, it was a good long time before I actually played any RPGs of my own. I was quite young when Final Fantasy, the first Final Fantasy game, came out. Now, the first RPG I played was the tactical RPG Shining Force, which is what one of my texture packs is based on, of course. So it was like my first game that I really got into on my own without playing alongside someone, or I just, play it on my own. Because I got a Sega Genesis for my birthday, and this was like my first console that I owned all to myself. I didn't have to share it with my sisters or any of that. I got it for Christmas. And I got Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I think, had just come out, so that's the game that I got with it. And then I knew this kid at school, and I bought Shining Force from him for $30. And I mean, I enjoyed the crap out of that game. I played it so much. And I basically played Shining Force right up until the time that Final Fantasy VII came out. I was still playing Shining Force. And I had played Shining Force 2. I didn't own it, though. And I just felt like Shining Force had such replay value that I kept playing it and playing it. And then I got to look at Final Fantasy VII specifically. And, I mean, obviously, there'd been 6 games, Final Fantasy titled, that had come out in the intermediate in between the original and number 7, but I'd never played them. I think I had seen, just the Final Fantasy 3 was what it was called here, but it was actually number 6. I had just seen bits of it before playing 7, but when I played 7, I was just blown away by the graphics, and it really was a jump in quality of the graphics between basically any RPG that came before and Final Fantasy VII. And it took three discs on the PlayStation, and it was about this time that I actually got a PlayStation, I think the year after Final Fantasy VII came out. So the PlayStation was my second console that I owned. And it's really funny because Final Fantasy VII has the summons. If you've played it before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have the spells you use from the materia, and it has the summon creature spells. Most of them do damage to your opponents. And the most ultimate of the summons was Knights of the Round. So you'd have 12 or 13 different huge boss-looking dudes. They were knights, I guess. Fly around and hit your enemy that you cast it on. And it's funny because at the time, I was absolutely blown away. I was like, I can't believe the graphics on this. I can't believe that they're that good. It's so funny because of how far the graphics in games have advanced since then. They seem so primitive. And just from the fact of how long the animation went on, because it seems like it was a 2 or 3 minute spell. That alone was really blowing my mind. And I forgot to mention, another game, I never owned a Super Nintendo, but I really played a lot of Chrono Trigger, and of course that's another one of the texture packs that I made, is the Chrono Trigger texture pack. So I did actually play quite a bit of that between Shining Force and Final Fantasy VII. So, a lot of the games that I played and actually cared anything about were the RPGs, because of the style of game I enjoy, mostly. I have played a good number of action games, but it's not really, my favorite. I like RPGs just from the sheer fact that I like to be able to play a little bit of a game, set it aside, and come back to it and pick up where I left off, and kind of get the feeling that you're, slowly progressing And more often than not, I don't really set it down. I'll just play it for hours and hours and hours. But I like to be able to feel like I'm getting somewhere in the game. So having a level system or whatever it might be in the RPG, I really enjoy that factor of it. And probably my least favorite, I never play sports video games, like ever, and that's just because I don't have an interest in sports. I may actually have fun with them if I did, but I really don't care for sports at all. And probably second, or right in there with that, is I like some parts of platform games, like let's say Lara Croft, but I really hate, like I would play Lara Croft, and like I said with the old Atari and Nintendo, you'll like be going for a jump and you miss one jump, and then you're at the beginning of the level, and you got like another half an hour to play just to get back where you were, or even longer with some games. So I think it's kind of my experiences with earlier video games like on Atari and Nintendo that kind of, for one thing, forms my opinions on video games. If it's something like that where you can't save or you end up back to where you started, I really lose interest in it fast. And that's one of the best parts about Minecraft is you can make these. I mean, just removing one block, and then you've changed your game, and it's like autosave. You never really lose what you've done. Even if I die and I lose all my stuff, that's just another change to the world that my game is. And I'm still progressing. I'm still feeling I'm getting somewhere, even if it's losing your stuff. Now your game's changed. It's unfortunate that, that's not the change you wanted in your game, but when you come back, it's not going to be the same game as when you started it. So it's like, even though they didn't make the experience into a leveling system, being able to build up experience is just another part of how you change your game by playing. Now, I'm getting like way into detail about the actual question, but I figured that was better than just making a list. But if I was to list some games that I like, Final Fantasy X and The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind were like basically my top two favorite games for quite a while, and that's really right up until I played Minecraft. And I played World of Warcraft, like I mentioned. So I really like that game. Other than that, I don't really play any MMORPGs. And when I play Warcraft, or World of Warcraft, I play it very, like, uncharacteristically. Like, I never go on raids or team up with people or do dungeons. I'm really just like, I turn it into a solo RPG, which it's not really made for, but I've played it on private servers where you get more experience than usual and that sort of thing, and it really enables being able to play it on your own because, just beating a boss or a little bit of the game allows you to continue on to like their harder areas, and mostly I just like to play that and explore. I've mentioned that I'm a map person before, and I really like to explore in games. So when they added biomes to Minecraft, I mean, that was one of the biggest improvements in my point of view that they've made, is the different variety of environments. Makes exploration more interesting. As far as other games, I like that Project Zomboid that they're just coming out with now. They're working on. I would prefer a save system in the game. Like I said, I don't want to die and have to restart after I've spent like several hours into one character, and then basically just find out that I died in a certain number of hours. I mean, it's almost like bragging rights. I don't know. Which is all fine and good if that's the type of game you like. But I mean, I would prefer to be able to at least have like some form of backup to your game while you're playing it. Even if it's, a week before you die or something. Not start from the very first day. I mean, and when I've played Project Zomboid, I basically have just like picked a building, and then I bring tons of stuff back to it and stockpile like crazy. And I do it like almost every game I play, it's making me laugh. Like almost every game I play, I really do it with, like I'll play Final Fantasy and just save items and try to build up a huge supply, and then it's like that's the end of the game. It's just me having beefed up characters with tons of extra items saved, like all of the healing items that I've been able to save and not have to use. And done that with Resident Evil, where I'm at the end of the game with tons of extra ammo that there's no way I would get through or have to use, and just kill the end boss with the Magnum. And Resident Evil actually was like the first video game I owned on the PlayStation. When I got given a PlayStation for Christmas, my grandma gave me Resident Evil to go along with it, so kind of holds a special place for me. Even though it's not necessarily my favorite style of game because it's survival horror action type of game, not really action, but just survival horror. It does have a save system, so I mean there's always that. I have managed one time I played, because I owned it, I was able to play it just ridiculous, like to the point like I knew everything. And I've seen there's videos of people beating it with the no saves like in an hour or something ridiculous like that, and you can see them play in the video, and like they make every turn like perfect and not get hit by any zombies. And like I didn't carry it to that level, but I did actually beat the game with just one save. I had to save it once right before the final boss, just in case he killed me. I'd be able to go back and beat it with a single save, which is not too bad. And of course, no first aid sprays. I played Age of Empires 2, tactical strategy, I think it is. I played that quite a bit. My friend gave me a copy, and I liked that. But again, I mean, with the way that I played games, it was kind of ridiculous because, I mean, the game's really made for you to like build up a little army and then go kill off the computer or your opponents, and then, you know, build up more resources and continue to play like that. But like, I always got sick of how easily the computer could like control other people, and I was like flipping my mouse around trying to just keep up with them. So I would end up playing, it's really funny, I'd be the Byzantines, and if you played Age of Empires 2, basically you can use your monks to convert enemy units so they like become yours. And what I would do is, because you can get, the Byzantines would have like stronger monks or something, so I would almost always be them. And I would immediately build walls around my little island or whatever, and then wait for the enemy to send their troops after me in a boat, because I'd be like an island with walls like right up to the edge of the water. They couldn't land their boats, so what I would do is I'd convert their transport boats, and then I could control their transport boat, and I would like take their boat to a place where I had just like one strip of land and then a gate, and I'd release one of their units and then immediately convert that one, and then continuing on and on until the boat was empty. And I would end up with just like this huge stockpile of an army in the like middle of the playing area, and like the enemies would have like no resources left to even send anybody. And it's like, just, I kind of play games in a way that like it's not necessarily the way they're meant to be played, but it's just how I'm comfortable with playing them. I mean, I try to get around the fact that the computer obviously can control 50 different things at once, and I'm like, you know, going click, 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 click as fast as I can with my mouse and trying to keep up, and obviously at a big disadvantage when it comes to doing multiple things at the same time. And then again, like I said, as far as my tendency of playing a game and stockpiling things, like in Minecraft, having just chest after chest full of even common stuff like dirt, you know, stockpiling that and stone and all of that. So then what I end up doing is having like my castle back where it is, 1,000 meters away, and then I start off a new area like I did here, and I've basically, you know, I'm crafting the way that I play yet again, forcing myself to have to start over, but I still get to save all the stuff that I originally had. So yeah, long story. I hope I answered it. I can't really think right off anything that would better describe games that I've played besides Minecraft. Long way of answering it, but I just felt it was better than a list because I've kind of gone into detail about what makes a good game to me, and kind of a little bit of the backstory about how I got into games and everything like that, which I haven't done really at all in this series. So it was a very good question, and thanks to Diotoxin for asking me. And like I said, I'm just going to keep flattening this out, and then I'll build it up, build a tower. And I plan on getting over to those pirate ships, and I also have to go back at least once to get some great wood logs. So I'll do both of those things off camera. Next video I should have this a little bit further down, and I most likely will be saved on the pirate ship, the smaller one, and then I'll be able to try to raid the other one in the video. But I figured the first one's just a small little ship, so it won't be a big loss for y'all to not see me make it to kill off like 2 enemies on that little ship. Instead, I'll die a million times trying to see. He just stole my pickaxe and my I saw that. See, look at all this stuff. He's not stealing it, but it's really handy. I like the pack puppy is what it's called. That upgrade. It's a very good one here. Just whatever. You pick that up. Here, pick up the dirt. There you go. See, look at that. He wasn't even close to it. Yeah, so thanks again for watching, everyone. Remember to vote for me. I'm running for YouTube president, and I appreciate your likes and your comments and all that good stuff. And if you don't know what I'm talking about as far as YouTube president, it's okay. I've just started it today, and I hope that everything goes well in my campaign. I've made some campaign promises, and I intend to keep them. So thanks. Your votes are appreciated. And until next time, I hope you all are doing just fine wherever you're at, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.